Okay, grade 12s. This is a solid geometry question for grade 12, obviously. And I took this question from the JPEGD workbook. This is page 73. So, okay, I'll just try and do this question. So please listen carefully and follow the method, all the steps, right? Okay, so we are given the front view and the top view of a right square prism with a right equilateral triangular pyramid. So we are given two solids. It's this triangular pyramid and the square prism, right? Okay, so this is the front, this is the top. So remember, solid geometry is always in first angle orthographic projection. So always the top view will always be at the bottom, and then next to it obviously we'll have the front view, right? Okay, so the second point says the auxiliary view of the square prism and the triangular pyramid. So obviously we have the auxiliary view for the square prism right there and the auxiliary view for the pyramid. The position of corner B on the answer sheet. So this is the answer sheet. Where is the starting point? The starting point is right over there. It's corner B. Okay. Specifications. One face edge of the square prism is in contact with one face edge of the triangular pyramid. Both solids are cut by a cutting plane MN. So the cutting plane is right over there. So the cutting plane is MN, right? Okay, so obviously the cutting plane cuts the two solids right over there. Okay, then instructions: draw to a scale 1:1 the following views of the two solids. The given front view. So remember, this is the front view and this is the top view, right? So we have to redraw the given front view exactly as it is, right? And then we have to draw a sectional top view on cutting plane AA. So the moment they add this word sectional, sorry about that. The moment you see that word, you must know that that view must be hatched, right? Obviously, we have to cut that view. So that means we'll cut the sectional top view, obviously using the cutting plane MN, right? Okay, and we also have to draw the true shape of the cut surfaces. Obviously, because we'll have two surfaces. Why? Because we have two solids, right? Okay, and then show all necessary construction and projection. No hidden detail is required. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just move back to this because now I've read all the instructions. I know that I have to use scale 1:1, and we were told that the two solids are in contact with one face edge of the pyramid as well as the one face edge of the square prism. Okay, so now when I look at this given figures here, I can see that there is an auxiliary view there. Why do we have this auxiliary view? It's because we can't draw this prism without the auxiliary view. So it means I'll have to draw the auxiliary view first so that I can just project the points down so that I can just draw this front view of the prism. Same as for the pyramid right over there. We can't draw the pyramid. Why? Because we are not given the distance from here to there. So it means I'll have to draw the auxiliary view so that I can just project the points up. Okay, so before I waste more time, I'll just start with my drawing. So obviously I'll start with the what's this, the auxiliary view. So because we are given that this base of the prism is tilted at an angle of 30, so it means that this line this side is 60 degrees, right? Because the base this side is 30. So I'll start by extending that line using my 30 by 60 set square. So I'll just project that line up like that. Remember, I'm trying to draw this auxiliary view, right? So obviously this line here, or this edge, is aligned with that point up there, right? So I'll just mark off the height of the prism on that same line, that construction line. So the length or the height of the prism is 75, so it's right there. So I'll just mark a point there so that I'll have enough space for the auxiliary view up there. So now it's up to me. I will start anywhere, but on this line. So because the height of the prism is right there, I'll just mark a point there. This point, it's this one, right? So now I'll just try and construct the square. Okay, because this is a square, obviously I'll start from this point. What I can do is I'll just take, I'll take my 30 by 60. I put my 30 by 60 on that line, and I take this 45-degree set square and I put it next to the 30 by 60, and I just draw a line from the point like that. And even the side up there, please make sure this one, it doesn't move. So I'll just press it down so that it's stable or static right there, and then I just draw a line there. Okay, so we are given that the sides of the square is 40, right? So I'll just measure 40 there, mark a point on this side. Let me just extend that line, mark a point right there. Okay, so now what I can do, take my 30 by 60 again. From that point, I just draw a line, and then even from this point I just draw a line so that they can just join up there. So this is the square. So let me just use or darken the lines like that, like that, like that. Okay, so this is the auxiliary view. It's a square. So now obviously, because I have the auxiliary view, I can just project all the points down at an angle of 60, remember. Okay, before that I'll just label all the points. So I can just say this is point A, B, C, D, right? Okay, and then now I'll just project the points down like that. Okay, so I can just draw the space now. So I can just draw an outline there, right away, and even up there from the height. This is the height of the prism. Please guys, do not use a marker or anything, a pen or whatever. Please use a pencil, because your drawing will not be marked. So I'll just draw that line over there, this line here, and that line there. Okay, so now that means I have the auxiliary view for the prism, and I have the front view of the prism right there. So I was able to draw the front view of the prism using what? The auxiliary view up there. Because without the auxiliary view, remember, we are not given the length or dimension from this point to this point. So it's very important for us to draw the auxiliary view, right? Okay, I'm done with the front view of the prism. Now I'll just try and draw this pyramid. and remember this pyramid is against the prism right there, so that means the length of the edge of the pyramid is 75, right? So obviously it's not the height of the pyramid, but it's the length of the edge of the pyramid. So now obviously I'll try and draw this pyramid, right? So now, are we given the distance from here to there? Yes, we do have the dimension from this point to that point. It's this side of the triangle, right? From here to there it's 40 because all the sides of this triangle are equal, right? So it means from here to there it's 40, and then from here to there it's 75. Why 75? It's because remember this length here from here to there, it's the height of the prism, and the height of the prism is 75. So it means from here to there it's 75. So now, because this distance is 75, I'll just take my compass and measure 75. Measure 75 like that, and then I'll put my compass at that point right over there, and obviously I'll just draw an arc somewhere there like that, and then from here, from this point to that point it's 40, right? So I'll have to measure 40 now, from 0 to 40. It's right there. And then now I'll put my compass at this point, and then obviously the two arcs must intersect there, so it means that I have a point there. So why am I doing this? It's because we are not given the angle of this line. I can only get this point by doing this construction. So I have that point, so now I can just connect. There. Okay. Like that, and the base just like that. Okay, so I'll have to draw this auxiliary view, so I can just put my set square there on that base of the pyramid, and then just put the other set square there, and then now that means I'll just slide this set square down there, then draw a line, and then put the set square this side and project this point down to that line, and also this point there like that. So obviously I have this point and that point, so those 2 points, it's this one's here. Okay, so now I have to get this point. I can only get that point by using my compass. I'll measure 40 on my compass, so just measure 40 there, put my compass at that point and draw an arc there, and then put my compass now at this point, draw an arc there, so where they intersect it's a point, so I can just draw the triangle there just like that. So now I have the triangle there, but now I'll have to find the center point of this triangle there. So what I can do, I can just bisect this side of the triangle, so I can just draw an arc down there, and even this side, and then now I'll put my compass down here, draw an arc there, an arc there, so I'll just have to extend this arc there, so where they intersect it's a point, So I can just draw this line right away. So now I have this line, right? So I bisected this line, or this side of the triangle. Now I'll have to bisect this line, this side. I do the same thing. Now that means I'll use those 2 points, draw an arc there, an arc down here. This is grade 10's work, bisecting of a line. Those constructions you were taught in grade 10. So okay, and then I draw a line there between those 2 points, like that. So that means I bisected this line. So where they intersect is the center point. Where these 2 lines intersect, it's the center point of the triangle. So now I can just complete the auxiliary view by drawing these lines inside. So I can just draw a line there, like that, a line there, a line there, a line there, a line there, and even inside here I must have a line, just like that. So this is my triangle. So obviously I can just label the points from the auxiliary view, but first let me just label the points from the prism right there. So I have point A there, so this will be our point A, and even this one, because we have 2 points here, it's AA, and then here that means I will have D, and also point B as well. So it's D and point B. Then this side I'll have you see this, it's a problem now, but it's fine. I'll just say it's C, and then I'll just cancel out this B, and then I just write C there. Okay, so it's line CC, BB, and DD there, AA there. So because this point is labeled already, so I can just say this is point A, and then here I'll have point 1, 2, and 3. This is the base of the pyramid. So here I'll have point 1, and then here I'll have point 2. So I have point 2 and A here, right? And then now when I project this point up, obviously it must go straight to that point up there. So point 3 is right there, so I'll just write 3 there. Okay, so let me just draw this edge just to complete my front view there. Okay, so this is my complete front view. No, it's not my complete front view. I have to add the cutting plane. Remember, we still have the cutting plane, so I'll have to add the cutting plane. So from here, from this edge of the prism to this point where the cutting plane cuts this top surface, it's 14, and then here the side from the top point there of the pyramid to here, it's 65. So I'll measure 14 here, and then this side I'll measure 65 from that point going down right there. So I have 2 points there. So now I can just draw the cutting plane. So cutting plane, so I can just make it thicker, both ends. So this is MN, right? Okay, done. So now I will have to move. Okay, so we are done with the given front view. So now I'll have to try and draw the sectional top view on cutting plane MN, right? That means I'll use that cutting plane. So now let's draw the sectional top view. Okay, so let me just zoom out a little bit. Just like that. Okay, so now I can just project the points down to this section here. Let me use this one. So I'll just project this point, that point, that point, and the points from the top surface there, that point there, and that point. So I've projected all the points for the square prism. I'll just transfer the measurements from the auxiliary view to this section down here. So I'll start with point A. I'll start with this top surface of the prism, right? Okay, so we have how many points here for the top surface of the prism? We have 4 points, A, B, C, D, right? So it's A, B, C, D. So I'll just transfer this distance from here to there. I'll just transfer it to this section right over here. So I can just take my compass from point A here to that point up there. Then obviously I'll use this line. I put my compass where? At line XY. Then I mark a point there. So this is point A. So this is our first point there. So I can just say this is point A. Okay. And then we have B. So I'll have to open this compass to that point there, B, up there. And then obviously I'll use this line, put my compass on the XY line, mark a point down there. Means I have a point here. So this is point B. Okay, and then I move to point C. So I'll use this line for point C, and then I mark there. So that means this is point C. And then the last point E, that means I'll have to measure that small section there, like that. Obviously I'll use this line and mark a point right over there. So this is our point D, right? And then now what I can do, I can just connect these points but in light construction, right? So light construction, just connect the points there, like that, just like that. So this is the top surface of the prism. It means like when you look at this two solids or this prism from the top, I'll see the top surface, right? So this is the top surface, right? Okay, so now I'll have to try and draw the base. Obviously I'll have to transfer the points for the base and then try and draw the square there, because the base and the top surface, they are the same. It's the square, it's a square surface. So I'll just do the same thing right over here. So for A, obviously A, I will just transfer those points. So this is A is there, so this is A. And then we have B. Where is B? B is right there. So from the base, B is right there. I'll use this line, and then that means I can just project that point to here. So this is my B for the base. Okay, C. C, remember, from the prism is right there from the front view. I will use this line, then project that to here. So this is our point C from the base, and point D from the base is right there. So I'll use this line. It means I'll just project this D to there. So this is the point, right? Okay, so now I can just connect the points, light construction, like that, like that, like that. So this is the top view of the prism in light construction. So this square there, it's the base part of the prism. Obviously, looking from the top view, you will only see those two lines for the base, but we won't see those two because they are hidden. They're just underneath here, but obviously we'll see the top surface there, right? Okay, and then now I'll just go back to my cutting plane, right? Now I'll have to cut this prism using this cutting plane, right? So if we check this cutting plane, the cutting plane passes through this point, that point, and that point, right? So I'll start right here. Here I have line AA, and obviously the cutting plane is cutting line AA where? Right there. So where is line AA from this top view? Line AA is right there. So it means that I'll have to project the point down to line AA. So this is our first point of the cut surface, right? Okay, and then now I move to this point, right? And here we have two lines. Remember, we have line BB and line DD. They are on the same line here. So it means that I'll have 2 points of the same point, right? So I'll start with line BB. So I'll have to project this point to line BB. Where is BB? BB is right there. So I'll have to project that line to this line. Project that down to line BB. So this is our second point. Remember, we are from there. We move to there, right? And then now line DD. Line DD is there. That means I'll just project the same point to that line there. So this is our third point. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we move to this line here. So from here, we also have two lines here. We have line BC and line DC. As you can see from the auxiliary view, we have BC and CD. Those two lines there right here from the front view, right? So I'll start with line BC. Where is BC? BC is right there. So I'll just project that point to line BC. So that means I have a point there. And also line DC. DC is right over there. Obviously, I'll have to project that point down there. So this is our point.